One thing I wanted to know is going into this documentary that came out and like the WCW one, the Vince McMahon one, and we saw you in a documentary as well. And people could go watch these. They're out on Netflix and all over the place. Is there anything in these documentaries that have been coming out the last couple of months you feel they left out that is like good meat and potatoes about you or what you've done and accomplished?
No, I think it's been, Rock did a really good, Dwayne Johnson and his production company, $7, along with Brian Gewirtz. They did a really good job, I think, of telling the world what really happened with WCW and seeing information for the very first time that had a lot to do with it that had never been revealed before. Interviews with certain people that nobody's ever heard of before that were really an important part of it all. That part of it, I think, has been covered really well. Up until the Rock's version of what happened to WCW, the story was pretty murky because there were just too many people that didn't really know what they were talking about telling that story. But Rock's team did a really good job.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was these two wrestlers, Bret Hart and The Big Show. What was it like working with them? And any behind the scenes stories that we don't know about? Because we heard on the internet, we asked our Jackson podcast Discord what they want to know. And they said that you have some interesting stories they've seen on the internet of you talking about these two wrestlers.
Not really so much with Big Show. He was new. He was brand new to the business. He'd only been in it for a very brief period of time. Hulk Hogan kind of took him under his wing, protected him quite a bit. And got Paul really to the top of the business in very short order. But I always got along well with Paul. I mean, he really is a gentle giant. He's quite capable of doing severe damage, and he knows it. And I think he compensates for that by being about as gentle of a human being as I've ever been around. Bret, it's unfortunate. The first time I met Bret, I think it was '96. I really got along with him well. We're very similar. He kind of likes living off by himself a little bit. He loves the outdoors. He loves history. Native American history is something that we both have in common. We both have a strong interest in that. But Bret came to WCW under duress. It was right after the Montreal screw job. Bret took that a little too hard. He really believed he was a Canadian hero. And it really took a lot out of him emotionally. So when he got to WCW, he was I don't want to say a shell, but he wasn't the same guy that he was in WWE. He was broken. And then shortly after that, his brother got killed in a ring, and he never recovered from that. So I would have liked to work with Bret earlier in his career. I think it would have been fun because I really respect what he's capable of doing in the ring, but he's a little bitter and I think broken at this point.
Yeah. Is he still involved in wrestling at all?
No, he suffered a concussion at Bill Goldberg. He was in a match with Bill Goldberg, and Bret, of course, blames Bill for it. I'm not so sure that's how it happened, but it was a career-ending concussion. He had a stroke shortly thereafter.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I don't think he could even get in the ring.
Damn.
I mean, not to wrestle. I mean,
he
wouldn't. I'm telling you things. If you saw him, he would never notice this. But,
yeah.
I think the stroke took a little out of him.
And then, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think people understand how dangerous pro wrestling is. When you see it, it's like being like a live stunt man. You got to be a great athlete.
When you did it? Did you enjoy it?
I liked it. I always wanted, but I didn't get a chance to do much.
Well, and someone like you that's coming in, especially from your profession, if you're coming in as a wrestling character, they're gonna lean into that aspect of your athleticism, right? They're not going to ask you to do backflips off the top rope.
Right.
That would be stupid and wouldn't be consistent with your character.
Right.
Let other people do that. But it is dangerous. People have died. I mentioned Owen Hart as an example. Mark Bagwell, who worked for me in WCW, broke his neck in a match, and we thought he was going to be paralyzed from the neck down. He came back. He came out of it, but there was a couple days there when we weren't sure. It can happen. As a fighter, you're protecting yourself at all. You're protecting yourself at all times. As a wrestler, you're counting on your opponent to protect you, and that's a little scary until you get used to it.
Did you have any training for being a wrestler?
No, they put a ring in my gym. I had my own gym back in the day, and they never sent anyone over there to train me. I was very excited about it. What was that lady name that was running the TNA when I was there? I forgot her name.
Dixie Carter.
Oh yeah, Dixie Carter. I just feel like she dropped the ball, because they had me stare down Kurt Angle, and at that time that picture went viral on the internet.
Because that would have been a hell of a matchup. And you guys could have had a hell of a match because you wouldn't have had to rely on the silly wrestling stuff, the over-the-top, jumping off rope stuff. You guys could have just gone.
Yeah, I was surprised at how the internet loved it. It went viral.
You should try it. You should get back at the mix.
I'm too old now. I got too many injuries and stuff.
For wrestling? Me
for
and you
wrestling.
put on a show for Rey Mysterio.
Ah, you a lightweight. You nothing.
I'm a what?
You a lightweight.
I'm a what?
You a lightweight. You a peon.
In front of the GOAT, you're going to say that?
I'm just keeping it real.
You really think I'm a lightweight?
Hey, he
you
keeps
really
it
think
real.
I'm a lightweight?
You're a lightweight, bro. You're like, I could just flick you. You like a booger.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
You're nothing.
See what
brother.
I got to deal with? You see what I got to do? I'm sorry, I'm not shaped like a Cinnabon, brother.